Hi, this is Stuart Black, Creative Director on Enemy Front from City Interactive, and I'm going to be taking you through a little walkthrough of 2 levels from a pre-alpha build of our Second World War first-person shooter. The Enemy Front opens on the beaches of Dunkirk as the Allied forces are abandoning Europe to Nazi occupation. Our guy, an American OSS Ranger, is heading in-country to cause as much death, destruction and mayhem as possible.
Bit off course, aren't you? Didn't think you Yanks had much.
One of the key aspects we were keen to avoid is making you a frontline grunt doing again that Normandy to Berlin run. So scavenging for supplies is a major factor in our game. You want to be looking out for grenades, ammo, weapon upgrades. You can carry 2 weapons, and one of the things we wanted to do, although you're going to have your standard Thompson machine gun, we're going to give you the Garand, we wanted to feature some of the more exotic weapons that haven't been used in World War II shooters before. So this gun I've got here at the moment is the Lanchester. It's kind of like our signature weapon. A British gun from 1939 based on an old German design. So I'm going to scoop up some ammo and I'm going to head into town and take on some Nazi scumbags. So the heart of Enemy Front's experience is its blazing gunplay. We want to really create a really strong visceral feedback loop every time you squeeze that trigger. So as we're pushing up through here, through Dunkirk, coming across some Nazi soldiers that are hassling our allies as they're trying to escape. So I'm going to give them a little bit of a helping hand. Toss some grenades up there, take out some guys.
That's all she wrote. That's all she wrote.
One of the main principles behind Enemy Front is the idea that you can play the way that you want to play. We want to create as much as possible a customizable experience. This is our players' $50 they're putting down. As much as possible, we want to let them have the kind of experience that they want to have. So if they want to play sneaky, sneak up on guys, take them out silently with their knives, they can do so. Or we can go in guns blazing and start blowing the shit out of the environment. So here we are in the Owl Mountains, about halfway through our game now. And we're going to have a look at one of our other enemy types. We've got our standard grunts over here. These are kind of like our stormtroopers, can't hit the side of a barn door, right? But over here, we've got what we call our scout class of characters. These little guys are a little bit more accurate. They have a tendency to flank round behind you. But one of their main features is that when alerted, they're quite likely to run off and try and get some of their mates. So when you come across squads of guys, the kill order in which you take them down is pretty important to how that's going to play out. There's not necessarily one particular way to do it. You may think, okay, I got a scout here, he's likely to run off, I should really be taking him on first. I'm going to let this guy get alerted and kind of run off to show off this feature. But if this guy had a heavy machine gunner in this squad, it might be that you want to take him out first. And the time it took to take out the scout, this guy could be getting a bead on you and laying down some heavy fire. So maybe that you want to get rid of your heavy machine gunner first, then take out your scout as he's doing a runner. Where's that guy? So we have a fairly large degree of shreddable environment in the world. Most of the cover objects can get blown away. I'm not a patient player. I like to move on, so I want to rip through that cover, get my guy, and move on. Okay, strategically placed explosive elements in the world can be used to good effect if you time them right. A lot of the world can be shredded, ripped apart, and if you notice there, the gun's doing did an automatic reload, which is a lot slower than doing a manual one. We really want to make a thing out of managing your weapons, whether that's in the spread of your bullets, managing your reloads, or using different weapons in different situations depending on the range. So I've picked up a MP40 here, which is pretty good at the 50 to 100 meter range. Has a slower fire rate than the Lanchester I was just using. Bullets hit for a bit more damage, but it's got a much smaller magazine, so I end up having to reload a lot more often with this gun. Once you're getting close, it's worth switching to the Lanchester, which is much better at the 50 meter range and has a much more blazing gun effect. You should always be on the lookout for explosive elements within the environment, whether that's the classic exploding barrel, or piles of ammunition that can be used to take out bad guys.
Morons.
Much of the world shreds under fire. And we can typically do window frames, door frames, pillars, and a large selection of covers that the bad guys use. But you got to watch out, they can also take your cover out from you with dire consequences. So Enemy Front is going to feature a range of AI class types, from the most basic Stormtrooper grunt who can hit the side of a barn door, to scouts and medics and various other units. We're going to have the classic, you know, heavy machine gunners and snipers. We're going to have some more unusual units like a logistics officer who will throw in smoke grenades and call in airstrikes on you, and medics who heal up wounded soldiers. Enemy Front's going to be out at the end of this year for the PC, 360 and the PS3.